Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our special webinar. We are so grateful to be with you here tonight. This is Margie Alaprandi, and just a few hours ago, I got a message from Dr. Sarda that she was going to be in emergency surgery potentially until about midnight tonight. And we had specifically requested the opportunity to talk about this lineup of products. And so she was so disappointed. As it turns out, everything worked out. We're together. You guys are here. We're excited to be able to share with you the information about the Harmonizing Collection. As I mentioned, my name's Margie Alaprandi, and I'm with Dr. Carrie Sarda, who has a master's degree in metabolic medicine and nutrition, and is highly active in her field of medicine and is well researched in alternative therapies and particularly prevention. I think that more than anything today, I'm thinking about what we offer as a Modere family and as a worldwide brand, and I'm feeling how powerful it is that our message is focused on prevention and not on a curative, let's just wait until your body's breaking down and then let's try to throw together some answers. We're really um, based on giving the body what it needs, supporting the body nutritively, and also by avoiding the onslaught of toxins in the environment, offsetting some of that exposure to the point that the body can really do what it is capable of doing with the optimal circumstances. So, prevention rather than cure is always what we're looking for here. So, this collection actually was put together for this specific time of year, because I think it's a time of year when we have a sense of potentially overwhelm, and and we're seeking that sense of harmony and balance, and wanting to know that we have the reserves within us to be able to weather the demands of the season. And so this harmonizing collection is very, very powerful. Tonight we're going to talk about three products that are a great complement to each other. The products we're going to talk about, and in the order we're going to talk about them, is the product Vigor, the product Frisky, and then the Harmonizing Cream. I have been getting recently, over the last few months, so many questions about Harmonizing Cream. What are the benefits? How can this particular product support the body in doing what it does well when it has the components it needs for support? And so it was by request that this collection came together tonight. We want to spend the bulk of the time this evening on the product Harmonizing Cream, because there are some extremely powerful reasons and really broad spectrum reasons why having a natural source of progesterone to balance the excessive estrogen that we have in our environment all around us, and even in our bodies, really, men and women, frankly, why this is such a beneficial product for us. So with that, Dr. Sarda, are you here?
I sure am. Can you hear me okay?
Hallelujah. I'm so happy. Yes, I can. And so we're going to move first to the Vigor product. And I'll just say that when I joined with the Legacy Company 28 years ago, this was one of 13 products that we had at the time. And it was probably at the time the number one selling product. The primary ingredient of this, well, let's just talk, some of the benefits here. It promotes youthful vigor and overall sense of well-being. It has huge antioxidant capacity. It helps to maintain cellular health, and what it's known for, with its kind of primary ingredient here, Foti root, is that there's millennia of research with this particular ingredient. Um, this is something that dates back, several thousand years in Asia, and faux tea root has a rich history. And I think we have to realize is that when something's handed down and really stands the test of time that long, and there's plenty of medical research around it, but there's also a lot of folklore around it, and a lot of stories of emperors and the things that they attribute to this particular ingredient. And we have captured this ingredient in a highly bioavailable form. And this particular product falls into the lineup of our products that have broad spectrum impact. And so with a little bit of research, you would find that it has anti-tumoral, anti-inflammatory, that it helps with hypertension, vasodilation. It has, and then when you just start looking at the benefits of this particular herb and those impacts that it has in the body, you can conjecture that it has a lot of benefits. And so I'm going to now pass it to my comrade. I'm so grateful you're here, Dr. Sarda, because my perspective without yours is just not enough. So maybe you can talk about some of the heart benefits, the anti-tumoral benefits, anti-aging, huge anti-aging. I remember people back in the day actually having hair come out from the root that was gray, and they could see like black at the root again after they started taking this product. And that was one of the things that sort of the emperors touted millennia ago. So let me turn it over to you for a little bit of folklore and also some really hard science around it.
Right. So you're absolutely right. It is a pretty amazing root extract. Faux tea, as we all know it, is the magic and the vigor. And the thing I want to bring up the most that I actually like about it and use it, it's a wonderful detoxifier. It really, really does a good job because it works through the liver, and it really cleans out that liver. That's kind of where it really gets its anti-aging ability, is all in how the ability it has to detox. And therefore it supports the immune system. It does definitely reverse gray hair. It absolutely, it's been seen numerous times. It is a little dose dependent. It is a little dependent from person to person, and you do have to stay with it. But certainly something that can revive the scalp or the melanocytes in that area, obviously is moving in a positive direction. Rejuvenating is a very good word to put with the faux tea, and so it's going to do that as well for the nerves in our bodies, our brain cells. It's just kind of overall whole body rejuvenation. Probably its secret is its ability to cleanse the liver or detox the liver, and we all need that. Our liver is just under so many challenges. It performs over 600 functions, and believe me, if you're worried about things like losing weight or things that aren't vital, that's the last thing the liver's going to worry about. So you got to keep your liver detox, and you got to keep it clean, and that's the big keynote I wanted to take home for the faux tea root extract.
Fantastic. And we could honestly spend an entire hour, never mind just
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's wonderful, and we don't mean to minimize it, of course, but
we want to get to the heart.
Everything that rejuvenates. Right.
So some really powerful benefits from this one. And now we also, Dr. Sarda and I have another webinar recorded on the product Frisky, which will give you 40% of your recommended daily calcium. And just a little bit about DHEA, and maybe just about hormones in general, because this is kind of a call around or a webinar around the importance that, or the significance that certain hormones trigger just freaking everything in our body, and DHEA is the mother of all hormones, and so it is really it's the precursor to both male and female hormones. And so DHEA, particularly when it comes from an assimilable, recognizable form to the body, which is our DHEA 7 keto DHEA, and then with the alfalfa root, it has a lot of benefits. And obviously, we tout the sexual arousal benefit, but in previous conversations, Dr. Sarda, I know you have pointed out how, I mean, it regulates sleep cycles, and as a result, I mean, it so much is based on the body getting a true rest and being able to sleep, and sleeping becomes more difficult, right? As we age, our levels of these naturally occurring hormones decrease, and so if we can supplement them from a bioavailable source, amazing what the impact is, because they're designed to be in our bodies in abundance when we want to have our bodies behaving youthfully. And so this is definitely one that's utilized by athletes for endurance, and it enhances, supports energy. It also keeps the bones strong. Let you jump in on this one, Dr.
Right.
Fry.
So really, anybody that in my anti-aging metabolic practice, anybody over 35, I ask them to be on a form of DHEA, and it's not a patented product, so there are a lot out there. So it's not been one that drug companies have been able to capitalize on and make real expensive. So I love DHEA because it's very affordable, especially our Frisky, and it's such a pure form of it. So remember with DHEA, right, we're not making as much basically over 35, and it truly is the parent hormone. And it is where the beginning. It is what we consume cholesterol in our body, and we could break it down beginning with DHEA. And what I pointed out before in our other webinar was that it's not just testosterone and estrogen and progesterone that DHEA play a role in. And of course, that's where you're getting the nice uplift in sex drive when you take it. But remember, cortisol and insulin and the thyroid and all those things are controlled, again, by hormones. You are not going to get anywhere. You will not lose a pound if your hormones aren't balanced. Also, aldosterone is controlled by that. That's how we control our fluid balance. People that get the swelling and the puffiness, their aldosterone's out of order, usually because their DHEA is out of order. So it's extremely important for all our body systems. My most important thing I wanted to say about tonight was the only thing that can counteract cortisol or adrenaline, that 24/7 on the go, is DHEA. It is the yin and the yang to that. It's the only thing. So in times of stress, in times of high anxiety, in times of emotional, physical, or times of sleeplessness where you get stressed, anything that your body is fighting, unless you have DHEA, your fight response, your body response will get out of control and ultimately be your demise. And that's where all the diseases come from. We know stress is responsible for everything. So remember, that's why this is so much more important than just sex drive. And that's a wonderful benefit. Of course, that's a wonderful benefit. I think that's how it got its name, Frisky. But our most important thing is it balances our fight and flight type response. It balances our stress. It's the yin to the yang to the cortisol, that adrenaline. So it's so important. I have all my patients, one of the first things I do, it's because it's so safe. This was touted in the 90s as being the fountain of youth hormone.
Exactly.
That's what really, really became popular. And the reason why it did was because of how much it did to protect the body and how much it did to slow the aging process, because that's what cortisol and aging does. So skin was getting better, sex drives were returning, energy was getting better, sleep was getting better, aches and pains were getting better. I mean, truly, when this really and truly first came to be popularized as a supplement, and people really started appreciating it, was when everything about somebody was getting better and they were taking DHEA. So remember that. This is a huge sleeper in the company that I think is a definite must. It's a definite must, because we know that you decrease your level, and we know you have a lot of stress. We all do. And so you've got two things going against you.
I'll tell you, after we did our last webinar with this product. I was taking it relatively consistently after doing a little bit more research and then hearing some of your comments about this amazing product. Frisky sounds like it's such a narrow application, but we're really talking about something that is related to, I mean, just do the research. I'm not making any claims here. I am just literally reading like from Wikipedia and just you do your own research, but that it has been linked to um, having low levels of DHEA is linked to Alzheimer's, heart disease, depression, diabetes, inflammation, immune disorders, osteoporosis. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And it's because this DHEA is the mother of all hormones. And of course, it regulates the sex hormones as well. And so it has that impact. But this is one of those that is kind of like for whatever ails you, right? It's
Right.
really and the sleep thing, like that just drove home to me when you mentioned that last time. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take one at night now to regulate the
Hmm.
circadian rhythms. I remember you saying that. I'm like, whoa, I am all over this really consistently ever since.
It's a definite big bang for its buck. It's a definite boost to your immune system, to your sex system, to your to everything. It really is a good product. And then the other thing I like too is we mix in the 7 keto DHEA with it,
Yeah.
to help us to kind of help externally with the aging process as well, because that actually does not get converted to the sex hormones, the 17 keto. It converts over to the other ones. So it helps with edema and it helps with the stress hormones. So you're not all converting just over to testosterone and estrogen. So there's a real good balance with the Frisky, a real good
It's
balance for the whole
brilliant.
body.
Brilliant. It's a simmable. It is broad spectrum once again.
Mhm.
And when
Right,
we
right. Speeds up your metabolism. The 17 keto will as well. It's used in weight loss a lot, and also it also really stimulates the activity of the thyroid gland.
And just so that you know what Dr. Sard is saying, it's not on this slide, but she's talking about the 7-keto, Keto DHEA, a very special compound that converts differently in the body in terms of assimilability and which other hormones it stimulates. Um, Very unique, a very, very unique formula here, guys, that we have in our hands. And once again, a broad spectrum when you feel that you are taxed or spent. And this season does tend to do that for a lot of us. Now, really, the product that we want to make the star of the show this evening is this harmonizing cream. My friends, I've had a couple of decades of experience with this product, and I am an enormous fan of this product. Um, this is a topical progesterone cream, and the impact that I've seen this product happen in or what I've seen this um, support the body in accomplishing is literally amazing. And there was a time when this product alone was responsible for a large part of the volume in the company. And if something isn't talked about and something isn't promoted, it just kind of falls below the radar. And I have a lot of people asking me, what about people who need support with this thyroid? What about people that need support with osteoporosis? What about people who need support with just like kind of on and fibroids or um, mood swings? And it's just like we need to have a webinar where we talk about the harmonizing cream. And I know Dr. Sarda is is equally as excited as I am to take the remainder of the call to share with you the impact of progesterone and the importance of this product for balancing the unopposed estrogen that we get exposed to really just in our environment, and the amount of estrogen men and women have being produced in their bodies as they age, and the lack of balance with progesterone. So in a well functioning body, um, the balance of estrogen and progesterone is very, very equivalent. And when people, women in particular, come up with certain symptomatic, problematic things that, hot flashes or, um, uh, you know, osteoporosis, just a, a ton of symptomatic things that have to do with um, hormonally related things, and men and women experience this. Um, they're crazily given excess doses of estrogen, and estrogen, when it is unopposed with a balance of progesterone, is the probably the greatest. Excess estrogen in the system is probably the greatest cause of breast cancer. It may well be the only cause of uterine cancer, an imbalance of estrogen. And when you think about the xenoestrogens in our environment that come from toxic ingredients from personal care products other than Modere products, and you think about the way that our meats are, some of them given hormones, estrogen to make them fat. What does that tell you? They're just such an importance of that balancing. The in women, the ovaries produce equal amounts, right, when everything is functioning well, of progesterone. And there's a lot of research around. In fact, if you go back 50 years, the World Health Organization says never give estrogen without a balance of progesterone. And the research is just replete of, particularly, and I'm going to turn it to you, Dr. Sarda, but this is just, I got to just say
You're
these.
doing an amazing job. I'll tell you. So my original degree at a medical school was obstetrics and gynecology. I mean, I was a hormone doctor, and it's what I do and what I know for a living. And I will tell you, I have absolutely no one on estrogen only. You have to be on both estrogen and progesterone in my practice all these years. I also have the opportunity to get any kind of progesterone that I want. I have access to it all to use, and I use the Modere harmonizing cream. It's perfect. It's very affordable. It's topical, so that is the number one way that you absorb hormones. That is the best way. It doesn't have to go through the stomach or through the liver and have that, what we call that first pass effect, where it loses things. So it gets right to where it needs, to the target organs, right where it needs to be, right into the bloodstream, right to the skin there, because it's a fat. It likes fat, and it wants to absorb through that layer the best. And the thing about this is, we know that estrogen makes cells grow. It makes them grow out of control. And we know we're exposed to so much estrogen because we have to remember that fat cells will convert and make estrogen. It is not the same estrogen that your ovaries make, but they will still convert. That's why men, as they age, tend to get what we like to commonly refer to as moobs, I think, and why they get the pot belly. They start turning their estrogen from fat cells, and their levels go up, and they start turning their testosterone, converting their testosterone over to estrogen. Right. Yeah. So it's just as important for men to have a balance of hormones as well. They really do. But for women, we just stop making it after a certain time. Also, believe it or not, even very young stop making it. So much so they start to give it names like polycystic ovarian syndrome and things like that. And it's just an unbalanced body of hormones. And it's so easy to fix. You balance it. You give yourself some progesterone. This is a wonderful, wonderful product. Again, this is something that was not patented. It's the same exact molecule that your body sees of its own progesterone that it makes. So we give it that term bioidentical, and that's what we love so much about this product. It is not a synthetic, modified, patentable version that your body sees and is not really quite sure what to do with it. It has to figure out something in the liver to do with it. This goes right to every receptor that it needs to go because the body can't tell the difference. This is an amazing product. This by far, and maybe it's because of what I do for a living, is the product that I just I just adore it in Modere. I've seen it help so many people. Of course, it'll take care of improve night sweats, hot flashes, insomnia, mood swings,
Mood swing,
irritability, memory. Please don't
depression.
ever underestimate what hormones do for your memory, for your skin, constipation, for your gut, just overall feeling of wellness. And
It's
and
so
believe it or not, it's both sexes.
need this
Um,
balance because of the predominance of estrogen in our world. We're getting a ton of it. The body still makes some of it, particularly if there's obesity. Those fat cells crank out estrogen, and
the little estrogen factories, they really are. You're right, Margie.
exactly. The balance of progesterone will help with weight loss. Everything from I'm just going to throw out a few things that I've experienced. Definitely, the ups and downs, the mood swings, the hot flashes, and then also just know, even in pain relief, there are sometimes people that are riddled with pain, and one of the things progesterone is just really supportive of it in the system is that it helps the production of myelin myelin sheath. And so it builds that. It helps with uh, um, just think of things that happen when hormones are out of whack, right? And when there's maybe an abundance of estrogen, fibrosis, acne, weight, water retention, aches and pains, thinning hair. But one of the ones that I think is kind of an unseen um, issue and so important is osteoporosis, and what happens when there's an excess of estrogen. So the Dr. Sarda can probably speak to this even better, but I'm going to tell you it in my layman's terms that just like skin, the bone is constantly broken down and built up, broken down and built up. And so we have in our systems osteoclasts and osteoblasts. It's just crazy to me that I remember this from back in the day, some pioneering work by John R. Lee, that when you have too much estrogen in the system, the bone is breaking down. That's what estrogen does. It produces the osteoclasts that break down the bone. Osteoblasts, which come from the balance of having an equal amount of progesterone, is what builds the bone back up again. And so what was happening when physicians were giving copious amounts of estrogen to patients, hoping that they were slowing osteoporosis, is that it was stopping the breakdown of the bone, but nothing was helping to rebuild the bone. And that's a cyclical thing that has to happen. It happens with the balance of estrogen and progesterone. And without the balance, the buildup can't happen again. So think osteoclast is kind of the breakdown estrogen. Osteoblast is osteoblast is building back up. And so without that progesterone in the system, you're not going to get the build again. And so bone density, you can test this with somebody that if they want to get like a mineral bone density test done and then take this product for a few months, just a little dab on the wrist or a soft area of the skin. I don't know. Let me turn it back to you, Dr. Sarda. I feel like I'm
Well, you did a very nice job of explaining that. Again, do you want your house built out of popsicle sticks, or do you want your house built out of logs? You still have the same number like the estrogen was doing, but you want them to have quality and have some substance to us, and that's what blasts do, those osteoblasts. So yes, progesterone is vital in retaining bone tissue, as well as I don't know that we've touched on enough the fact that what it does for the brain. You actually require
yes,
progesterone to get things across the brain, such as your serotonin, your neurotransmitters. You also require, because it acts as a carrier across the blood-brain barrier, you require progesterone to get insulin and to manage your blood sugar across the blood-brain barrier. That's why it works so well on focus and memory and mood.
yes.
That's why it's so calming. That's why we do it oftentimes at night to help rest, relax, and calm. Because it's so vital at carrying things across the blood-brain barrier. So, and that oftentimes people are don't even think about that, are so unaware of focus and memory. With bones is pretty popular. You hear that a lot, and of course hot flashes and night sweats. But what about your gut? What about gut motility, constipation? I mean, many times people come in with 7 or 8 things. And instead of leading with 7 or 8 prescriptions, something for constipation, something for heartburn, something for sleep, something for depression, all I have to do is balance their hormones. That's all I have to do. And very, very quickly, all those things just disappear. I do it all the time. I see it every day in my office.
Oh, I love hearing this because my experience is exactly the same. People that were even kind of plagued by some memory loss and not feeling sharp as
Especially
tools.
sleep. Especially
Yeah.
sleep. That's the big one that really, because it's so instant gratification, and of course night sweats and hot flashes, but especially sleep. I even I measure my levels in my men, and I even have men on on progesterone, because once you start balancing the hormones, they all start correcting themselves, and you stop converting. So I mean, really and truly, this is not just a gender-specific problem, but it is the root cause of so much in this country. Root cause. We got the product, you guys.
We really do in a similar way. So, if somebody happens to be on estrogen, nightmarish.
They shouldn't be by themselves. You
Never.
should be.
Never on its own. So just think in terms of a support product for the thyroid, for all of the things that we've mentioned, and oh my gosh, a little dab, just a little bit on the fingertip, and rubbed into the soft, thin-skinned area on the body. So here we go, Dr. Sarda. I'm going to share the Holiday Harmonizing Collection. If you feel like the holidays are just that little bit too much, why don't you give your body the components it needs to manage more capably? So these 3 products together, the normal price for them, the regular price, is $71.97 right now, starting now until 9 a.m. Mountain Time on Thursday morning, $49.99 with
Oh,
50
wow.
points. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, wow.
That's
I
an
know
excellent price.
you hadn't
That's
seen
an
the numbers.
excellent price.
I know, I know. And of course, these products are available in Canada as not for resale. And so, however, the conversion works there. Sorry, guys, I don't have those numbers for you tonight. But um, this is Moder's response to a request by Dr. Sarda and I to once the 12 days of stocking stuffers were complete, let us talk about these harmonizing products. Let us talk about them in a collection, with the star of the show being that harmonizing cream so little talked about up until now, and such extraordinary benefit. I love how you said so many symptoms, one solution. I love
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it was important to us that again, we've got a lot of sleepers in this company that are just amazing and don't get near as much attention, and this just isn't a product that should happen to.
Exactly. Don't let this fall beneath your radar. Spread the word. Have people that didn't listen to this webinar listen to it, because I just think our goal is to serve people with these Modair products, help them avail themselves of things that may have put their body out of balance, that might now be able to put their body in balance again, let it do what it's great at doing, which is heal itself, and do all the amazing things we were born to do. So guys, take advantage of the Holiday Harmonizing Collection. Spread the word, 30% off. Dr. Sarda, thank heavens you were able to make it. I'm so glad. I just knew your
We're saving.
perspective would be so valuable. I'm happy I didn't have to go it alone. Anyway, thanks everyone. We're going to be back together next week. What I want you to know is gear up, because it's going to be a very special promotion next week. Dr. Sarda will be back with me after the first of the year next week. Greg Horn will be with me because it's going to be a very special um, offer around the M3 product called New Year, New You. So with that, take advantage of the Holiday Harmonizing Collection. Everyone, happy holidays. Dr. Sarda, it's a joy. And good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.